Hey curious one, welcome to my channel. My name is Carol Metz and I'm so happy to have you here. This is my third episode of the Serial Killer series, a show where I talk about the heinous crimes that have happened at the hands of serial killers, specifically those that have happened in Africa by Africans. This show is for those who are like me, like true crime, love serial killer stories, or we're just snooping around on YouTube and happened upon this video. If that's you, hey, what's up? Please stay. Please do stay. And while you're at it, please come next week for a brand new episode. So last week, I covered serial killer Daisy DeMelka, who I dubbed Poison Daisy. Get it? Like Poison Ivy, except her name is Daisy, so Poison Daisy? If you're interested in seeing the video, I'm gonna link it down below. Please go watch it and leave a comment so that I know you did watch it. Without any further ado, I hope you're buckled in because like all the other days, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. So on today's episode, we're going all the way up to the northern parts of Africa, to a country that I've dreamed of visiting all my life, Egypt. With a population of more than 90 million, Egypt was at some point known for more than just its beautiful history and being the land of the pharaohs. A man referred to as Tourbini once reigned terror in the lives of the people there, committing heinous crimes that still shake some to the core even today. Ramadan Abdel Rehim Mansour, born in the year 1980. None of the sources that I came across gave me his exact birth date, so I guess nobody knew. So he was born in the year 1980 in a town called Tanta in Gabia, Egypt. Ramadan was born into a poor family that barely made it by. So by the age of 12, he was sent out to go work in one of the cafeterias in the Cairo railway station to help the family survive. It is said that Ramadan was often bullied by someone of the name Abdo, who would often beat him up and take the little that he had earned. Now let me pause right here. When I was doing my research, I found out that this guy, Abdo, was the original Tourbini. That is, he went by that name, but Ramadan would later adopt the name as well. So back to the story. The young Ramadan, fed up with all this bullying, decided to one day retaliate. So when Abdo came by, as he normally did, and demanded money, as he usually did, Ramadan told him no. And he demanded Abdo to stop. Also, he told Abdo to return all of the money that he has taken so far. This infuriated Abdo, who dragged the young Ramadan up to the roof of a train and proceeded to rape him. After he was done, he decided to throw the young Ramadan off of the roof of a moving train. Ramadan fell onto the iron bars of the railway line, causing severe injury onto his head and strabismus to his eye. What is strabismus, you ask? Well, this is an abnormal alignment of the eye. So Ramadan is thrown off of a moving train, and other than just hurting his head and his eye, he injures his abdomen somewhere there and his left leg. He's taken to the hospital where he spends a month in recovery, and Abdo is arrested. This whole ordeal will set the story of Tourbini well on its tracks, where 32 children unfortunately lost their lives in a similar fashion at the hands of Ramadan Abdel Rehim Mansour. As he grew up, Ramadan turned to a life of crime. He left his home in Tanta and went to Cairo, where he joined a street gang who taught him survival skills that he would later on encompass in his acts. While learning the ways of the gang, it is said that Ramadan would often make mistakes, and as punishment, the gang members would cut him with razor blades. That makes me shudder. Do you know how painful a razor blade is? He would later become the leader of a gang of teenagers and young boys who terrorized street children and took money from young beggars by force. Ramadan, aka Tourbini's MO was, his gang members would lure an unassuming street kid onto the roof of a train where Ramadan would shackle them, torture them with razor blades, and proceed to rape them. When he was done, he'd throw the victim off of the roof of a moving train. They'd fall onto the railway line and were consequently injured, while some were trampled on by the oncoming trains, which tore their young bodies apart, rendering them unidentifiable. All this happened as the carriages of the train carried the unassuming passengers below, who went on with their journeys, unaware of the horrors that was taking place right above them. Though his nickname Tourbini, which means express train, was born from how he preferred to commit his vile acts on the roof of a train, Ramadan's acts were not just confined to that. It is said that a young boy by the name of Muhammad Kamal fell victim to the treacherous acts of Ramadan and his gang. Muhammad Kamal entered one of the metro tunnels to spend the night. In this same tunnel were Ramadan and his gang. The gang spot him and they decide to rob him. They grab him and take the few cash that he had on him. Following that, they were instructed by Ramadan to take turns raping him. Then afterwards, Ramadan instructed everyone to leave him alone with Muhammad Kamal, and he proceeded to rape him as well. When this horror was finished, Ramadan grabbed a large stone and smashed Muhammad Kamal's head in until he was sure he was dead, after which he buried the young boy's body in the tunnel. Another one of his victims was Ahmed Naji. He was 12 years old and had wanted to join Ramadan's gang. Following this, Ramadan tried to sexually assault Ahmed. I guess to initiate him? I don't know. So Ramadan tries and fails for whatever reason, and Ahmed is able to leave and goes straight to the police where he reports the incidents. The police then arrested Ramadan but would soon release him for lack of evidence. Once released, Tourbini together with his gang searched for Ahmed Naji. They found him and brought him back where they took turns sexually assaulting him. Afterwards, Ramadan tied him up, gagged him and blindfolded him, then carried him up an abandoned water tank which was 30 meters high and threw him to the ground. Ahmed Naji died instantly. Ramadan Mansour is said to have frequently traveled between Cairo and Alexandria by train. He would later confess that he preferred Alexandria because there were fewer cops there in comparison to Cairo. The horrific act of Tourbini happened over the course of 7 years from the year 1999 until the year 2006. During those years, most of the children lost their lives at the hands of Ramadan, aka Tourbini. Most were boys, with 3 being young girls. Some of the children were thrown off of the top of a train, while some were drowned in sewages and the Nile River, and some were buried alive in tunnels. The beginning of the end of Tourbini would come in early 2006 when a maintenance worker stumbled upon the remains of a child in the tunnels of Shubra al-Khaima metro south of Cairo. Some days later, another body of a child was found. A thorough inspection was done, upon which the police found 12 other corpses of children. Naturally, the public was in an uproar and the media was abuzz with the news of the findings, while the law enforcement was hard at work trying to find the perpetrator. While conducting the investigations, the police were fortunate to arrest 2 of Ramadan's gang members who went on to confess. One report stated that among the 2 was a certain Ahmed Samir, who was 16-year-old, who, it was discovered, was running away from Tourbini, who was seeking to kill him. It was through Ahmed Samir that the police learned of the horrific acts the gang had been up to. He even gave them the names of all the gang members and where they could be found. Pause. Now here's where I'm conflicted, right? A part of me is grateful to Mr. Samir over here, but another part of me is like, man, F you for being part of that lifestyle, you know, I'm sorry, that's just me. You know, like, he was part of the lifestyle. But now that the gang is baiting for his blood, or Ramadan specifically is after him, then he turns around and says, excuse me, Mr. Policeman, you know, there's him and him and him and them, and I know where they are. You know, like, it's just... So anyway, the police began to arrest the gang members. One by one, they were taken in. Until finally, the leader of the gang, Ramadan, aka Tourbini, was ambushed after several tries. November 29th, 2006, Ramadan Abdel Rehim Mansour is finally caught and the streets are a little more safer for the children of Egypt. He confesses, but it is said that he did not show a thread of guilt, sympathy, or remorse for the lives lost at his hands. He was far gone, wasn't he? Yep. During questioning, he tells the police that his interests lay with children not more than 12 years old, and his gang members knew this and would keep to his specification. Perhaps this sordid preference was born from how he himself suffered the same fate at the same age. The confessions of Ramadan and his gang led to the discovery of more bodies, bringing the number of victims to 32. This makes Tourbini a serial killer with the most number of victims in Egypt. May 23rd, 2007, Ramadan Abdel Rehim Mansour is found guilty and given the death penalty, along with his sidekick Farouk Samir Mahmoud. The rest of the gang members were given long prison terms, but because of their ages, they were sent to juvenile prison. In December 16, 2010, 3 years after the arrest of Ramadan, he was led to the death chamber where justice served its hand. He was executed by hanging. And that was the end of the life of a man who committed his life to taking the lives of others, inflicting indescribable pain and instilling fear on the lives of the children of Egypt. May the souls of everyone who passed at his hands rest in peace. Thank you so much for tuning in. Come back next week and let's learn about yet another serial killer of Africa. And while you're at it, leave a comment below, like and subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Tell their friends to come and subscribe. Come one, come all. And with that said, have a beautiful rest of the week. May all that you wish for come true. Love and light to you.